Hey guys, what's going on? This is Backward Noise episode 243. We are taking a break from D&D, and we are doing, I want to say normal, but I would never have described Backward Noise as a normal podcast. We're doing more of a normal Backward Noise episode this week. We got Nathan on.
Hello.
And we have myself on, Very, many people on tonight's show, I could say only my favorite people are here.
Right.
Yeah. And as I was doing the intro, we're using a topics list that I made before we did the D&D campaign. And I just remembered a lot of things. Because one of them, I was like, what is LR exclamation point?
Lightning round.
And I was like, oh god, the lightning round! And also, one of the topics, and it's a little bit of a spoiler, may have been why I had the idea to do the D&D campaign, because one of the topics is D&D fight. So I'm like, that might have been why I had already had it in my head to do it.
Isn't that? I thought that was how it started. You guys were doing a topic and you're like, alright, make random characters and fight.
It was either that or, the podcast started, and I'm like, you know what? Mark and Kyle, you both like D&D, right? Let's roll me some random characters, and I'm gonna DM a fight between you two. It was either that or we rolled for it and we did it, and we just kept doing it and never stopped. But yeah, no, it's funny because it's I'm so used to doing D&D now that it feels weirdly refreshing to do just one of these normal podcasts where we just kind of chill and talk.
Yeah.
What has been going on in your life, Nathan? Because
World of Warcraft came out.
Oh, sure. Have you been playing a lot of that?
Not a whole lot. Not as much as I used to. I've already gotten to the point where I'm semi-burned out.
Oh, okay.
Like I was last time.
Yeah.
What happened in the last expansion was I picked it up a week or so before the expansion came out, which I think was a good idea because it gave me time to actually play the game. And I wasn't super pressured to do any sort of content. It was just get a character max level, which I did pretty easily.
Okay.
For a first time, I would say it was pretty easy. And then I got into a guild with some friends. Some of the friends from Ken's TeamSpeak, actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many of them you know. It was,
depends.
Tuna, Link, Bobby, and TB.
I definitely have played games with a few of them before. It's just not sticking right now.
Yeah. But, what happened was, I liked playing healer.
Yeah.
So I had a paladin, my first ever character, that, I got into max level, and then I'm playing through, leveling Legion, which was another 10 levels.
Okay.
And, after 3 weeks, the first raid comes out.
Oh, okay.
So, it was a fairly large guild,
Mm.
And it was a lot of experienced players. The guild was started, during the first expansion. So, it was a lot of, veteran players.
Okay. So people have been playing the game for a very long time.
For a fairly long
Yeah.
time. Not all of them were, super, hardcore veterans. I don't think any of them were, super hardcore either. Nobody was explicitly mean or anything, we're messing this stuff up.
Alright, that's the best kind of people to play with.
Yeah.
Though, are, the people that have played for a while, but also aren't hard asses about things.
They expected a certain level of, or a certain standard, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
And what happened was we had, a 20-player raid, I think, around
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Um, which is not the max. It's just who we could
Get
gather
on at
up
the
to
time,
do the
probably.
raid. So, I was playing with Sebastian too.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Sebastian was playing a Fury Warrior called Awuga Jones.
That's amazing.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
Um, but we get into the raid group, and there are two other paladins that are also healers. So we have 3 paladin healers
okay.
out of our 4 total healers.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about paladins, for healers, is they are infamous for being single target healers. So
Okay.
we didn't have. It was a lot of big burst healing, but on like a very small amount of targets. Like max, it was like 2 or 3 targets.
Okay. Yeah.
So that kind of sucks when there's like raid wide damage.
So to say, are there classes in WoW that do more of like a AOE heal
Yes.
kind of thing? Then okay.
Yeah. There are a lot of them.
Okay.
Actually.
Gotcha.
Paladin just so happens to be like the one that is the most single target.
Oh, of course, and you happen to have 3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of annoying. It also came down to the point where I was like lowest on the healing meters, so that looked bad for me because we were wiping on some of the fights. Like everybody was dying when when we like have to reset. That's called a wipe.
Okay. Wipe. I'm like, I don't know if wipe is a positive or negative term yet. So.
No. So yeah, it would have been fine if we weren't wiping, but when people start wiping and people get upset, they look to the lowest numbers.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily the right thing. But I was also like a newer player, fairly inexperienced. That was like my first time in a raid ever.
When things go wrong, like in any game, because like I can relate so much from playing CS. Like even so, like just to take a little tangent here.
Oh, go for it.
In CS, typically whoever in-game leads frags at least, because you're so busy like managing where everyone else is on the map and what they're doing and coming up with the right call. I was cut from a team, maybe 2 teams, definitely 1 team, for having the least amount of frags while in-game leading.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't think you understand what's happening here. Because it's like, I might have the lowest stats, but like when something goes wrong, it's not always the person with the lowest stats problem or fault.
Right.
And yet again, it's like because we were losing as well. So when you're losing, people look at stats and they target the person who has the lowest stats, and they're like, "You're cut." So that's where I was trying to relate this. It sounds sort of similar, yeah. So, tag back in.
So I mean, naturally, from my perspective, that doesn't feel great. Right?
Yeah,
like,
no.
I'm getting not necessarily yelled at, but people are kind of upset with me.
Yeah.
So I could be doing better. So raids reset every Tuesday. So like you've a full week to clear them. So what happened was we got through like however many of the bosses on Saturday. We called it a night, and then we came back Sunday and finished out the raid.
Okay.
On normal mode of the 3 tier difficulties. So we got through it, which felt good for me. I'm pretty sure I was bottom of healing on like all of the fights. But yeah. So what happens is I leveled a shaman, who can also heal. Shamans.
Are they more area of effect healing
they're
then, or
very much more area
Okay.
of effect? They have a lot of ways to heal multiple targets.
Okay.
So what happens is I'm playing the shaman, and shamans are notorious for having lots and lots of buttons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, the key to playing a restoration shaman, the healer, like spec, is making sure to utilize and manage all of your utility.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
it has so much utility and so many different tools that it can use for different situations. And you just have to make sure you're using the right ones, which I did not.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On top of, I didn't really enjoy the class. It just... There were some, like, easy mistakes you could make with it that just didn't feel right, and it seemed like it was, like, the right choice. Like, there's an ability called Healing Ring. It puts
Okay.
in a little circle, and up to 6 players who stand inside the circle periodically receive healing.
Okay.
Not very much healing,
But they get healing.
but they get some healing,
Yeah.
which is not great, because 1, people walk around a lot, and 2, it's not very much healing for as much mana as it costs.
Okay.
So, I didn't really know how to play Restoration Shaman, so I'm kind of asking some of the guys while we're in the raid, like, hey, I don't know if I'm doing this right or what.
Yeah, you're just trying to feel out to see if, like, they have anything.
I think people were trying to help me before that too, but somebody said, like, just, you know, make sure you're using, like, the one healing stream totem, I think it's called.
Okay.
Which is a 30-second cooldown. You just pop it down and it heals people periodically, and keep your healing rain off cooldown. So you cast these 2 abilities whenever they're up. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I'm doing that, and it's not going well. I'm the way I have my character set up is he's set up for a chain heal build, which chain heal, you target a person with it, and then it bounces to, like, 4 other targets or 3 other targets, something like that.
Okay.
But there are specific talents you can take that increase the effectiveness of it, so that it bounces to, like, 1 more target, and it doesn't fall off as much, because the healing falls off from target to target
Okay.
when it jumps.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's another one that makes it so targets receive more healing if they're standing inside of your healing rain. So I was like, well, if I'm casting healing rain all the time, then that makes sense to be using this chain heal talent if I'm going to be using chain heal all the time too.
Yeah.
Because that's just, like, more healing.
It sounds like double healing.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Especially to me, who's not really ever played a Resto Shaman before.
Sounds good to me, who's never played WoW before.
Yeah. It just sounds... It looks good.
Microphone
It's okay. It's not super great, from what I understand.
Microphone activated.
It's like in hindsight.
So what happens is, we're going through the raid again, and I'm, like, bottom of the healing again at the end of every fight, and I'm not really running out of mana, which is a problem the other healers are running into. So then they look at me and they're like, what's this guy doing at, like, 70% mana? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to cast stuff. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not spending enough mana.
Mm-hmm.
Which is strange, because both Chain Heal and Healing Rain cost quite a bit of mana.
Okay.
But you don't want to spam Chain Heal, because it gives you a buff that stacks up to 2 times, so if you use it any more than 2 times in a row, you're wasting this buff.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of play around with that. So you have to manage these stacks of the buff for your for 2 of your other healing abilities in conjunction. So
Okay.
it was not a good time for me.
No, it just sounds like, yet again, things aren't
Eventually-
going well. And they're
Yeah.
just like, you What are you doing wrong?
Nobody was explicitly being mean.
That's
or
fair.
Anything.
Okay.
Like nobody barked at me or anything.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to figure out what the problem was to some degree.
At least that's a calm way of like trying to figure out the problems.
Yeah.
Can't say any of my teams in Counter-Strike have ever gone like that.
Yeah.
It's sort of like when the team starts to get bad, you start yelling at each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
part of the reason I stopped playing CS.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, so I the shaman came about when we started doing heroic version of the raid.
Okay.
So
What's different between what you were doing before and heroic?
normal version is just like the bare bones of the raid.
Okay.
When you get into heroic, everything has more health, does more damage.
It's harder then. Got it.
Yeah,
it's like
it's harder. There's more mechanics on certain bosses.
Okay.
There's better gear drops too, but
okay.
You have to beat the
But
bosses
so
to get those.
did you guys fix the problem first, or did you guys just jump to heroic?
We cleared normal.
Okay, so you did eventually end up clearing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we cleared it the first weekend.
Okay, because I thought, I'm like, wait a second, am I missing something? Because you guys just struggled with the normal one. Hey, let's go to the harder one. Wait, that's not...
Yeah, no, we went to heroic because we cleared normal.
Gotcha,
So,
alright.
but yeah, I brought my shaman along when we started going into heroic. And what ended up happening is after the first night on heroic, we're doing this one boss, and everyone's kind of like, oh, this friggin' healer, this guy's messing up. Nobody's saying that, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people were kind of upset. They thought the raid should have been easier than it was. And what happened? I need to stop saying what happened. That feels awful. But we're
The next thing that occurred.
yeah. So Netflix gets turned on.
Oh no!
And I've got as
800
Hank
thing. Yeah.
and Connor Van Dyke referred to it, like South African internet.
Yeah, you basically have barely any internet at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so people are like, wait, what's going on? Why isn't this doing anything? And so I was like, hey guys, there's Netflix like 5 feet to my right, and I can't do anything. So we called it a night there, and the next afternoon, when I logged in, the raid leader, whispered me, and he said, hey, just want you to know that you won't be on the heroic progression team for right now. We don't think you're in the right spot, but we look forward to seeing you improve, and hopefully we can bring you back in later. I was very understanding of this. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But you know what? I completely understand where this guy's coming from. I just completely bombed 2 sets of raiding.
Yeah, so you were having some bad games, and you could understand where they're coming from at the very least.
Yeah. So what happened after that is I just stopped logging in. I was like, I could have tried improving, but I'm just so discouraged at this point that I'm gonna stop playing WoW.
Yeah, I mean, that's either goes one of two ways. You either you know what, I put a lot of time in, it didn't correlate the way I wanted it to, so I'm gonna either take a break or I'm just gonna stop. Or you get the other end. It's like you get obsessed with it, and you play the game even more, and either you get burnt out or you improve. You know, it's like so.
Yep.
But did you not go back to WoW after that until now then, or?
No, I did. I came back a few months later. I'd been removed from the guild, which was kind of like a relief, honestly. I didn't want to hang around in that guild too much. In between then, I also stopped really communicating with the guys over on Ken's TeamSpeak.
Yeah.
And which kind of sucked because Bobby and TB were like my Monster Hunter buddies.
Okay, so you gamed with another
it was Bobby and Tuna.
Okay.
Not TB. But yeah, those were the guys I played Monster Hunter with for the most part.
Yeah.
So I didn't have. I mean, we were still playing Monster Hunter together after that because neither of them were a part of that, like the whole rating thing.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so I just kind of like stopped talking to them, which I don't know, it feels awful. We were playing Monster Hunter one day, and then I think they like went off to college, and
okay, yeah.
it's not that they didn't have time. Bobby messaged me one day, and he was like, "Hey, just message me when you want to play Monster Hunter," and I was like, "Cool, I'll do that." And then I just like got lost doing something else, and just, like, stopped talking after that.
Yeah, that kind of thing happens though, because it's like if you didn't want to play Monster Hunter for that time period, sometimes if that was really the only thing you guys like communicated with, sometimes you like grow apart. As that's happened with me and many of people, whether it be obviously we both can attest people from Dillman. That like we were very super close to probably when playing on Dillman, and then time goes on, you don't really talk to the people anymore, and it's just like there's a lot of people like say from Dillman I don't have any ill will against like, or anything, but it's just like we don't really have a reason to talk right now, you know. It's just it's nothing against them, and I could also say that for like a lot of people I played Counter-Strike with. It's just like, yet again, don't have anything against these people, but if we either just stop playing together, or I've taken a few breaks from Counter-Strike. Like I took a few weeks off just this last month or so. So I played even less. So sometimes you talk to those people a little bit less. And sometimes it just turns out that it's just like we don't talk anymore. Cause like an example of someone who I talked to like every day and then they just kind of disappeared was actually DJ Blue Jay. Like cause he played CS a lot with us and then he kind of just disappeared one day. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him because I've seen him online a few times, but like it's just that's like one of those people where you're like, man, I hope he's doing okay, because I think if he would gone to college, he would have been in. I want to say he would be starting his second year, because I want to say he was Chance's age. I could be wrong. He could be like a year younger, a year older, but yeah, and like heartbroken about it. But I don't talk to Dave that much right now.
Yeah.
But it's just because like I'm not online as often as I used to be. Dave's not online very often, or at least if he is, I'm not on when he's on.
Yeah.
Because our beautiful bastard of an Irish friend has a social life.
Yeah. He's like always out, dude.
Yeah, no, but it's like the type of thing where it's like I'm super fucking happy for him, Yeah. It's like he is out having a really good time, and that's all you could ever want for someone that's your friend, Exactly. That's why it's like I would talk to him, but occasionally I'll get like a Snapchat or something, and I'm like, yeah, he's alive. Look at him, he's having fun,
Look at my Irish friend here.
Yeah, It's funny. It's just a good time. But yeah, no, there's just a few people in life that like you kind of separate from, and there isn't like there's no like there isn't any ill will. You know, it's just like you don't wish like any harm or anything upon them. Like you don't even like mildly dislike them. It's just like no, you kind of separated because whatever that thing was you were doing together, you kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And then you guys just kind of separated because like even in like real life I have quite a few friends that like at one point I hung out with every single day, you know, like and our interests just kind of changed over time and we didn't have like that common thing anymore, so we just kind of stopped hanging out, you know. And it wasn't like because sometimes, like, you know, like, it's, like, in those high school years or anything, because you're right there, now sometimes you might have, like, a falling out with a friend or something, and that's what causes you guys to not talk anymore, but, sometimes it's just, you guys aren't, like, vibing on the same thing anymore, and it's, like, you just don't, no, it's, like, no ill will, you know, it's just, or, like, whatever, reason you had to talk, you don't really have anymore. But you know, life is funny like that, you know. Now I'm saying you know a lot, and then what happened next was. All right, should I hit this topic list up real fast and see what we get? Yeah, why not, right? Like, okay. This was a topic that was on this list for a very long time and I just never rolled it. If you were to inherit $100 billion and you were not allowed to tell anyone about it, what would you do? Like, you now have $100 billion in your bank account. It's legit. Like, it was passed on from, like, someone, and they were like, this is yours. The catch is you cannot tell anyone about it. What would you do?
Tell like the bankers or anything?
Well, you can't tell any. That's fair, right? It's like no, the bank. It's like no, it's I don't know what you're talking about. You can't tell friends, family,
right.
Even an acquaintance you like walk past. Like you know, like if you go back to school and you're talking to someone in class, you can't be like, "How do your son go?" I got $100 billion, and
yeah,
you know, like you can't. If the bank asks questions, I feel like you would have to, you know? But, like, you can't tell friends, family, anyone, like, outside of that.
Yeah, I mean...
It would be hard. I would insist on paying for dinner all the time.
Oh, yeah, totally. But then people would be like, are you sure? Like, that's a lot of money.
And then I'd be like, you know what? I would have to figure it out, be like, you know, it's fine. Like, it's for you guys. I really care about you. It's like 5 years later, it's like I still have $99 billion.
Yeah.
But, you know, I would, I feel like there are, not so subtle ways of telling people, but not telling people. Because you can't, like, you're not allowed to tell them, but if I bought my friends all a new car, they might think something's up.
Somebody might catch wind of something.
Yeah, you know, like, it's just, or if, like, I'm like, you know what, I'm paying off this house, all of the houses and people I know. Oh, you have student debt? Not anymore. You know, it's just like, if you start doing things like that, I think people are going to be like, alright, what's up here? You're throwing money around that we know you didn't have before. And then you would have to lie to them and be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, what, did you inherit something? You're like, no, I just spending some money, you know? Imagine if you, like, told them, no, it's all my credit card. They'd be like, are you insane? They wouldn't ever let you spend money again, and you're just sitting on $100 billion that you're just like, I can't do anything with it. I feel like you could go a little crazy, but like, the thing is, it's like, I feel like if like I got $100 billion tomorrow and it was like legit money, I would just start living, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I would like do very subtle things, like make sure that my parents have plenty of money to like make sure that they can retire on and like not have to ever work again, stuff like that.
Then they're like, where'd you get all this money from?
I'd be like, don't worry about it, just take
But then
it.
it sounds illegal.
It's like, I swear it's not illegal, you have to trust me, and if they don't trust me, they don't get the money, I guess, right? Like just stuff like that, you know. There are a few things I have in mind that I would do. And then I probably would buy like a not a mansion or anything, because it's like dude, like it's like my house, the house I live in, it's 2 stories, and it's like, this is a lot of space for me. Like, I have my own room, and I never thought I'd have my own room, like growing up.
Right.
So I'm like, this is already plenty of space. Like, I don't need more than this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd buy like a house like this size or probably smaller, even though I have $100 billion. It's like, I wouldn't buy like a mansion, because I'd be like, what? I don't want to. That's so many rooms to clean. Would I have to do I have to pay someone to clean them, or clean them myself? That's a lot of stuff. And if I'm trying to not tell anyone about this $100 billion, like the topic suggests, it's like, I don't think I can buy a mansion, you know. And then like, I know buying all my friends' cars also would be like, Tony, what's up, dude? Like, something's going on here. Like, is this a midlife crisis or something? But like, I don't know. Do you have anything specific you would like buy or anything?
Nothing specific. I just try and make sure my friends are comfortable.
Yeah, that's the goal, honestly. Friends and family are comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I might buy myself the nicest gaming PC that was ever created.
Oh.
That's like the thing that I've always told myself, if I won the lottery or anything, I would honestly get my friend Steve and be like, Steve, I want you to help me build the nicest gaming PC ever. And if like I won the lottery, I have plenty of money, I'd be like, and let's make 2 of them, and you take one and I take one. You know, it's just like, but the nicest thing. Like at that point, like if I had $100 billion, and I don't think the nicest gaming PC in the world, making 2 of them, would be more than 10K. Like, I don't see it being really much more than that. I could be very wrong and ignorant on this, but if I had to guess. But
Yeah.
I know I won't lose $1 billion on a PC. That's all. But yeah, no, that's about what. That's definitely something I would do. Honestly, I don't think I'd get a new car or anything. I have a car. It works. I like that car. I'd be like the worst person, I think, to win $100 billion, because it's like, other than like what we said before, making sure that friends and family are comfortable, I don't really have a lot of things I want to spend money on. I mean, it'd be very nice to be like, yeah, no, I don't have to work or anything. I kind of just do whatever I want forever.
Yeah.
But like, no, I have really everything I want in life. And like, I'm working towards getting other things, you know? Because obviously once we're all in careers and stuff, we'll like work our ways to getting our own houses or whatever that goal is people have in mind. But it's like, yeah, no, like $100 billion, I mean, I would not turn down $100 billion. That is not something I'm saying, you know? Because like, I think you'd be crazy if like like Nathan, if you were like, I was gonna inherit $100 billion, but I couldn't tell anyone, so I didn't do it, I'd be like, you're insane. You know, like, it's that much money. You can just donate most of it to charity at that point, too. I didn't even think of that, but yeah. I would make sure all of the dogs have the nicest homes.
Oh, yeah.
I would find every dog charity and make sure they get a lot of money.
Could also...
Oh my god. I want to hear what you're going to say first. Make sure it's not what I'm going to say.
Could, help your good buddy out and just, you know, like a very subtle wink and a tip of the hat and, fund Linux.
God. I will make sure that every order is running Linux in the world. And I will call it the Chris Project. And then I will make it that every day after you eat, you need to take 5 minutes and reflect on everything. We'll call it the Kyle can't see after he eats rule. So you can't either. Oh, man. With that kind of money, I feel like I get a few of these things. But, like, what I was thinking, my brain was still on dogs.
Right.
So I would just buy a huge, like, thing of land. I know I said I wasn't going to buy mansions, but now dogs are in my head, so I'll do anything for dogs, really. And I would just go to, like, a local pet shelter, and I'm like, yeah, all these dogs need homes, I am adopting all of them. And they will live on this piece of land. And, have a good time being dogs, doing whatever they want to do. There was a movie. I can't remember what the movie was. But, like, there was a...
Zoo.
Wait, what were you saying?
We bought a zoo.
No. Where there was this rich old lady, and she passes away and leaves everything to her animals. It was like a cartoon. And then, like, her, like, niece and nephew were really angry, so they tried, like, getting rid of the dogs. I need to look this up. Alright. What is Google? Rich old lady leaves everything to dogs. Movie. No, I don't. This isn't really what I, There was a dog that inherited $12 million? Huh. That's real. Alright, is this the movie I'm thinking of? This is not the movie I'm thinking of. God, what was that movie? These are all, like, pictures of, like, this actual lady that left $12 million to her dog. I mean, if I had $100 million, yeah, I'd probably leave some money to a dog. You know?
Yeah.
Trying to think how to figure out what, because this has been bugging me. I've mentioned this to people so many times. And alright, this is not what I wanted. I just looked up, like, cartoons and movies about cats and dogs, and this is not what I was looking for. What is this movie? No, not quite. That's a cute movie, though. I forgot about that. It's a movie called Oliver and Company. That was a cute movie about a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
Not the movie I was looking for, though. God, the movie Cats and Dogs popped up. That is very much not the movie I'm looking for. Secret Life of Pets? No. Alright, the top 25 dog movies. Let's see. Is this on here? Beethoven, Turner and Hooch, Air Bud. These aren't even animated movies. God damn it. Alright, we're just gonna keep scrolling. Oh, Bolt's on here. Bolt was a good movie. All Dogs Go to Heaven also was a good movie. No, it's not what I'm looking for, though. Oh, Balto? Well, Balto was a wolf, wasn't he?
Balto?
Yeah. You ever see the Balto movies?
No.
Oh, those I watched this all the time when I was a kid. It was about like this wolf, and it was almost like the story about like weirdly like the first dog ish. But it was a wolf, and he I think he eventually had like half dog, half puppy kids, because I think he had kids with a female dog. Didn't really. Yeah, this isn't. This list of top 25 dog movies did not. Pop up what I was looking for. Right now I just have a really long list of movies that have dogs in it. Okay, this is more of a search than I was looking for. Because this has movies anywhere from the movie Up to Clifford the Big Red Dog, the movie. So this might be more of a search than I was looking for.
Up's on there because it has a dog.
Yeah, exactly. It's
ridiculous.
Like, oh god, there are Toy Stories on here because the first movie has that dog.
Weenie.
Yeah. Oh no.
He was in the third one too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The third one was a weirdly serious movie.
It was. They almost died.
Yeah, and they all like held hands and like.
It was so sad.
It was very sad.
The kids movie.
Yeah, it's like this is a children's movie, people. Like. I don't know.
Whose idea?
Whose idea was this?
Jim, I'm looking at you.
Could this have been a Disney movie? It could have been. And now, okay, I have a list called all Disney Channel original movies. Is this gonna do me good? I haven't recognized a single one of these movies yet, so I don't think so. My phone was buzzing. I'm like, could it be? Someone's telling me. No, it's not.
I think the closest movie that comes to mind is like Hotel for Dogs.
Let me look up Hotel for Dogs.
That's not the same thing at all.
No, probably not. No. The movie I was thinking of, I'm pretty sure it's like an animated movie. God, I feel crazy because like I remember so little about this movie. I'm trying to piece together what the heck this movie could be. Okay, let's see. Movie, we're gonna say dogs. Inherits money. I'm still feeling like this is the wrong movie. There might be another dog that has this exact another movie that has this exact premise. But it's not the movie I was thinking of. At least I don't think it is. Because it's a movie called You Lucky Dog. And it's about a man who leaves his fortune to his dog and its psychiatrist. It's not quite what I'm looking for, though. It's so similar to it. It's so close. I don't think this is it. Let me look at this. I don't think that's it. Yeah, maybe this is like like a lost search here that I have to admit defeat on. Because I can't figure out what this movie is. I'm Googling this, and more stories are coming up about actual dogs that have inherited a lot of money than movies about it, even though I'm typing in movies, so I think I basically just wasted the last 20 minutes trying to find out what this movie was, and I failed miserably.
Maybe it'll resurface later, like the last episode of Bear in the Big Blue House did recently.
What was that?
Bear in the Big Blue House?
Yeah, I don't think I know what that is.
So it was a kids show.
Let me look it up.
It was really I freaking loved that show when I was younger. I'm sure you've at least like seen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. This guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I don't know why. I thought you said Baron, the big blue house, and I thought it was like a show about a house that happened to be big and blue named Baron.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, Bear in the big blue house. Wow, maybe I'm more sick than I gave myself credit for. Because as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm the dumb one. Yep. Yeah, I know this is... I don't know if I watched it very often, but I definitely know who this bear is. God, Google must think I'm an idiot. They're like, you typed in Baron. Do you mean bear in? And I'm like, ah, crap, yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, man, yeah. You know what? If I had $100 billion, I would personally fund another season of Firefly. I would be like, no, I need a second season of this. I'll finish the first season and then give me the next season and wrap it up in that season. That's what I would want to say. Trying to think if there are any other shows. I would like fund another season of the original Teen Titans. Like the
Yeah.
I don't want to call it the edgier version, but like the good, the good one.
The older one.
Yeah.
The one that everyone liked.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I think if I had $100 million, I would do a few things like that. I would probably go back in and be like, alright, what's this movie, show, TV series, just even book series that I really liked. It's like, I wonder how much money, like, I've never really watched nor read the Games of Thrones movies, or the movies, TV show, or books.
Right.
But I'm like, how much money would it take for to pay George R.R. Martin to finish those books a little faster?
Oh yeah, he's not gonna.
No, that is one of the most sad things I think I've ever heard for a fandom, is the fact that I heard that at maximum he writes maybe a page a day. Maybe a page a day.
I didn't even know he was writing.
Yeah.
I thought he was just like hanging out on set.
He could be.
Look at all these people.
Yeah.
All these attractive people, instead of sitting home and all depressed in his study writing books.
That's true. Fair. I mean, it's so funny because it's like, I feel like if I was okay, Brecken in chat offered for the low price of free, she can catch him in a net and make him write. So, with my hypothetical $100 billion, I think I can afford to hire someone for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the places where Brecken and I go for drives every now and then. There is an old man who sits outside of a 7-Eleven and looks like George R.R. Martin. So every time, Brecken will, like, yell out, like, Tony, stop the car. I need to get him. Make him finish those books. It's just like, no, it's gonna keep driving. and I feel fine.
And you don't sound it.
Yeah. And I'm like, do not harass this poor old man that is enjoying his time sitting outside the 7-Eleven. Brecken says, no, that's him. No, like, she's very sure. She seems to be very, like, adamant about this.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, what if? How weird would that be if, like, he happened to hang out, like, here, and it's like, where's the last place anyone would suspect me to be? At a random 7-Eleven in New Jersey. That's where I'm gonna hide out the rest of my days.
Right.
I mean, I wonder, like, how long, like, if you were, like, a wanted, person, like, in a TV show drama, how long could you, work, like, as, like, someone at a 7-Eleven before someone realizes who you are? You know, if you were famous enough, like, I feel like you get, like, a day or two before someone says, hey, you look like this guy.
And then everyone looks, and they're like, yeah, it does look like that guy.
And then they'll walk out, and,
The one guy's like, you idiots, it is that guy!
oh
Get
my
him!
god. Brecken said, what if that's really him, hiding from his publishers, and I'm stopping her from bringing him to justice?
What if, Tony?
You know, like, it's just like, there's that, like, 0.001% chance that...
What if, Tony?
You know, sitting here at my computer, seeing it typed, and here you go, what if, Tony? Makes me think, like, maybe one time, Brecken, maybe once, if we see him again, we may stop and be like, just to double check. We've seen you here once or twice. I know it sounds a bit creepy. That's maybe not the best way to lead off this conversation. Maybe scrap that. Like, hey, sir, you look a lot like George R.R. Martin. Do you know who he is? And if he turns around and tries to run, it's not going to get very far. But we know it's him. And Brecken, you can do with him what you need, as long as, you know, it's not super illegal.
Super.
Notice the word super illegal. I didn't say illegal, because if you're forcing someone to write, I feel like forcing someone to do something, like, in its own way, probably is illegal in some manner or another. You just think so, right? Like, it just feels wrong. But, you know, if... Imagine, right? Like, I'm gonna knock on wood here. But, like, what if he passes away tomorrow, and it turns out he passed away in front of a 7-Eleven in New Jersey?
Oh my god.
I will actually cry. And feel so bad. Because it's like... Nah, he wouldn't do that, right? Like... But what if? What if he just vacationed here for a few weeks? And we happened to see him outside of that 7-Eleven that many times.
Yeah.
Now I'm, like, in that weird, like, train of thought, like... Oh, man. Hell no. Like, what if?
Oh no.
Oh, no,
That
no.
wouldn't happen.
It's
Would it?
better to think it wouldn't happen, you know? Like, makes me feel better. I'll sleep better tonight knowing that it's probably not real.
Yeah.
Man. What if, dude? I try to think. I don't know if we've ever talked about this on a podcast before, but have you ever met anyone famous? Or, like, decently famous?
I feel bad because I feel like I have, but I don't remember.
Right, because it's like... I know that I've met a few, like, decently famous professional wrestlers. Like, I met this guy named Mick Foley once.
You met Mick Foley?
Yeah, I met Mick Foley. Yeah.
What?
I didn't realize that would be that big a deal to you. Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, and I was really hyped about it. I met Mick Foley once. I met Ted DiBiase. Like, senior, like, the $1 Million Man. Yeah, there's a baseball team called the Lakewood Blue Claws. Giving away location here, stuff I know. And they, like, almost every year they would have, like, a wrestler come to the park for some sort of charity event. And Mick Foley did it one year. And I was sure as hell, like, I'm going.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I met him. I have a picture of younger me with him somewhere. But
I can't believe you set it up like that. Semi-professional wrestlers, Mick Foley.
You know, it's just like, to some people that means nothing.
Yeah,
and
like, dude, I grew up watching WWE.
Okay, yeah, so at least you know who Mick Foley is. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. Because to some people, they'd be like, oh, I have no idea who that is, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not a big deal or anything.
Yep.
But inside this small fandom of ours, yeah, no, that was one of the cooler things I've done. This is like the weird part because I know that I met someone else or a few other wrestlers, but I can't remember who, which is really horrible. And, like, I know that I have. God. I just can't remember who it was. I feel so bad. You know what? This is going to be one of the weirder things I've done on the podcast, but I'm going to look for this book that I used to have. I'm sure I still have it somewhere. It's not right here. I have no idea where it is, so. It would be somewhere towards the top here. So now, welcome to this episode of me going through a drawer, and I think I have this. Yeah, okay. So unless it really is just those two. So my grandfather actually gave me a very old wrestling book that was like, it's actually called The New Pictorial History of Wrestling. And it was from, let's see if there's a year. 1990, okay. And I have a few signed things. Yeah, I have 2 autographs from Mick Foley. I actually have 3, technically. What is this? Oh, for some reason I have the newspaper clipping of when Macho Man Randy Savage died in here. It could have been just the 2, because I'm not... Because these are all very, very old pictures. So I'm just going to flip through real fast and see if I have any other ones. Welcome to this week's episode of Interactive, the podcast, where I flip through a book and tell you what I have in here. I also have, like, this might have been, I'm not sure if this would have been past the time you would have been watching it. I have a t-shirt that's signed by a former referee named Earl Hebner, who was, he was famous for an angle with Bret Hart, where, like, it was called, in the pro wrestling circle, it's known as the Montreal Screwjob, where, like, Bret Hart got screwed out of a title, like, in real life, and left the WWE. It's really weird to see all these pictures because a lot of these people are passed away.
Yeah.
But not all of them, so it's like... Oh, I forgot! It's technically not my autograph. But, I don't know if you ever heard of Bam Bam Bigelow. And if you haven't, it's okay. Bam Bam Bigelow was a wrestler from more like the 80s and 90s. Probably wrestled like before then too. But he actually, my grandmother was a bank teller. And he happened to live in New Jersey. And he happened to use the bank that my grandmother was the teller at. So my grandmother knew who Bam Bam Bigelow was. And for Christmas one year, my grandmother actually gave my mom a thing, or like a little piece of paper that just said, my mom's name is Rachel, exposing things on podcast. It says, Merry Christmas, Rachel, Merry Xmas from Bam Bam Bigelow. Which, that's pretty cool. So I do have a Bam Bam Bigelow autograph in here as well. But I want to say those are probably the only three, because I'm not seeing... I have a lot... To be fair, I have multiple Mick Foley autographs here, so it's, you know... But it's just funny even just seeing some of these names and stuff in here. Oh, yeah, there's Ted DiBiase. That's the page I was looking for. I remember Ted DiBiase seeing this picture and went like, wow, that was from a long time ago. It's funny to hear the person that the picture is of, like, go, wow, that's the picture you have of me. Okay. That's funny. But I'm gonna guess that those were... I still have a lot of pages to flip through, but I don't remember meeting anyone else. I'm sure if, like, I went downstairs and asked parents, they'd be like, oh, you met this person or this person, but I don't think I would have met anyone else. But yeah, I'm just gonna skim through these pages real fast. Yeah, this has been the episode, the podcast where I look at a book and I tell you who I have autographs of. But yeah,
In the book.
Book of autographs. But yeah, no. I want to say that those would... So Ted DiBiase and Mick Foley were the only, like, two people that can claim to fame that I've met before. Which, for me, as a kid that grew up watching wrestling and stuff, that was really cool for me, you know? Because if you watched wrestling at all, like, I know you said you did, but for anyone watching this, Mick Foley was definitely a guy who did a lot for it.
Yeah.
By God, dude. It's just like... If you ever go back and watch, like, some of the stuff that he did, Jesus Christ, people weren't meant to bend that way. Okay, like, the dude fell through a structure called Hell in the Cell, and fell through the ring.
Yeah.
And he lived. His opponent thought he was dead. He legitimately looked down in fear because he thought that he had, like, helped him kill himself in this moment. Because, like, it was just one of those things where mistakes happen, you know, and, like, the cage broke and it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
And he just goes right through. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's no good.
And it's like the craziest part of that is, like, Mick Foley, after that happened, got up and finished the match. It's like, dude, no one will blame you if you stop wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Like, that was the same match. Like, there's a highlight shown of it all the time that he was thrown off of the Hell in the Cell and went through a table.
Right.
He did both those things in the same match. Man, just stop. It's okay. It's like, you don't have to finish this one. People understand. You have done so much shit right now. It's like, just go home. You're hurting, man. Like, if anyone gives you shit, tell them to, like, talk to the fans, you know? It's just like, oh, wow, so you did, that hurt. Like, that hurts me watching it. I can only imagine, you know, like, because I don't want to get, this is going to be TMI details, but, like, the impact of him falling was so hard that I don't even know how this happens, but one of his teeth ended up in his nose.
Oh, yeah, that...
It's disgusting, but it's like, oh god. It's like, that's so real, you know? It's just like, oh god, he almost died. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's, this is the worst thing ever, because I feel like that I'm gonna, like, kick myself, because I feel like that I've met someone else who was at least somewhat famous, and I really cannot think of who it is. If I ever it comes back to me during a podcast or in the middle of the night, I'll let you know, Nathan, for sure. Because I'm like, I can't think, because I know I have friends who've met, like, my one friend Adrian met Paul Rudd once.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which, that's pretty cool, because they happened to be shopping in the same store. Apparently, like, he was shopping in the store, and Paul Rudd and his son walk in. And he was like, wow, I don't want to be that weird fan, but, like, Paul Rudd just walked in the store, I want to shake his hand. So he went over and, like, hey, you're Paul Rudd, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm Paul Rudd, and, like, he shook his hand. It was really cool. Which, it's a very Paul Rudd thing to do. Paul Rudd always just seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah.
He's not one of those actors that you're like, probably is a dick in real life, you know? But it's like, no, it's just, he seems like he'd be a cool, fun-loving guy. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to say that we've made it 1 hour and 7 minutes into the podcast. And, I'm starting to feel like I'm going to start coughing my lungs up in a minute. So,
yeah, talking for an hour probably does that.
No, yeah, you know. And I think I might end it here. I know this is a shorter podcast, but I want to say officially, before the show, I said that to Nathan, this may be the shortest episode we've ever done on the podcast. And this actually is not the shortest episode. I will throw that out there. There was an episode really early on that it was just Jacob and I on, I think. And we only did like 45 minutes on the show.
Wow.
So this is, I just want to throw that out there for the record books, not the shortest podcast ever, which is something that I was striving for. But I'm going to wrap it up this week. I know there was no D&D this week, guys. Unfortunately, like, I think I just didn't address this at the beginning of the show. Most of our crew just couldn't make it this week. People were busy, you know? Life happens. And hopefully, stuff can happen next week. I know for me personally and other people, we're going back to school. School for me starts in 3 days. I'm not mortified. I got both school and an internship coming up this semester, so let's see how that goes. So this has been episode 243 of Background Noise. We took a break from D&D this week. Hopefully we'll be back next week. If not, you know, Background Noise will probably be here next week. If we were here this week, right? You know.
Yeah.
So, Nathan, thank you for being on, man. I really appreciate it, as always. Anyone watching, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And I almost said hand. The stop record. Wow. I need to stop doing this, man. I'm gonna hit the stop recording button. So thank you all for watching, and bye!
Goodbye.
Bye.